The heist of the century, outwitting the banking system. Imagine an ordinary photographer managing to outsmart the banking system, orchestrating the most audacious heist of the century, and disappearing without a trace. This meticulously planned operation was carried out by a criminal mastermind, who managed to breach an impenetrable vault, leaving investigators completely baffled. Our story today unfolds at Société Générale, a prestigious French bank with branches across the globe, prominently located in Nice on the French Riviera. With its scenic view of the Mediterranean Sea, this bank was trusted by countless individuals to safeguard their valuables, including money, jewelry, gold, and more. Renowned for having one of the largest and most secure vaults in France, the bank enjoyed a sterling reputation for protecting its clients' assets. However, Monday, July 19, 1976, marked a day like no other. The day started typically, with officers taking up their posts, ready for another routine workday. Everything seemed normal until the bank's director and several officers attempted to access the vault for customer transactions. While the main door of the vault opened smoothly, the inner door stubbornly refused to unlock. Despite its age, a 75-year-old, 20-ton steel giant, the officers remained calm, as jamming was not unheard of. As the crowd outside the bank grew impatient, the bank director promptly contacted the vault's manufacturing company for assistance. An expert arrived shortly, attempting multiple unlocking procedures, only to find that while the lock mechanism was functioning correctly, the door wouldn't budge. Armed with various tools, he continued to troubleshoot, yet the situation remained perplexing, with no signs of forced entry. The frustrated customers outside grew increasingly anxious as the hours ticked by without access to their valuables. Despite relentless attempts to solve the mystery of the mechanism, the experts remained clueless. The notion that the door had been sealed from the inside seemed impossible, given that it was the only entrance and exit to the vault. By midday, the decision was made to breach the side of the vault door to understand the issue. By 3 p.m., a small hole had been made, revealing a shocking sight: the bank had been robbed. The bank director immediately alerted the police, and within minutes, the bank was swarming with law enforcement officers, including every high-ranking policeman in Nice. They were about to embark on an investigation into one of the most significant bank robberies in history. As the hole was enlarged, more officers entered the vault, discovering that the robbers had taken all the money and the contents of 4,000 safety deposit boxes. A bold message was scrawled on the wall in large letters: without weapons, without violence, and without hate. The question that immediately arose was how the robbers had managed to enter and exit the vault. The detectives quickly discovered a hole leading to a tunnel connected to the city's underground sewer system. The robbers had left behind the equipment used to break into the vault, indicating the scale of the operation: 27 gas cylinders for blowtorches, ventilation equipment to supply fresh air into the tunnel, and nearly half a mile of electrical cable. It was clear that this massive operation had been planned months in advance, and the payoff was substantial, with the burglars making off with money, jewelry, and precious metals worth approximately $10 million. It was the largest bank robbery in world history, earning the title of the heist of the century. The bank offered a reward of 4 million francs for information leading to the arrest of the culprits. This heist sparked the most extensive investigation in French history, involving high-ranking detectives from across the country who began interviewing thousands of individuals, including bank employees, customers with safety deposit boxes, local workmen, and residents near the bank. Evidence pointed towards a notorious gang known as the Sewer Rats, infamous for utilizing the sewer system for their criminal activities. After an extended period of investigation, detectives identified several suspects believed to be members of the Sewer Rats. However, they felt that none of the suspects had the capability to orchestrate such a sophisticated operation, so they kept these individuals under constant surveillance, hoping to uncover the mastermind behind the heist. A breakthrough came in early October when 2 men under surveillance attempted to sell gold ingots at a local bank. The bank employee traced the serial numbers on the ingots and discovered they matched those stolen from the vault. The police were alerted, and the 2 men were promptly arrested. With solid evidence linking these men to the gang, the authorities believed they could lead them to other members if pressured to speak, ultimately hoping to identify the mastermind. During the interrogation, one of the men revealed the name of a photographer named Albert, claiming he was the mastermind. The police approached Albert, who appeared shocked and vehemently denied any involvement. His demeanor and claims of innocence were convincing, and many who knew him attested to his simple life as a photographer. Known as a charming, romantic man, deeply loyal to his wife, Albert seemed an unlikely candidate for such a daring heist. Nevertheless, Albert was taken into custody, and a new investigation began. Despite continuous assertions of innocence, the investigation stretched on for hours, with officers using every trick in the book, both legal and illegal, to extract a confession. During Albert's interrogation, the police conducted a raid on the cottage he shared with his wife, discovering illegal weapons and bombs. This gave them leverage, as they threatened to charge his wife with possession of firearms and imprison her for many years. Knowing Albert's love for his wife, the police expected him to confess to protect her. Faced with this dilemma, Albert finally revealed the truth. He confessed to being the mastermind behind the operation and provided a detailed account of his plan. Albert explained that the idea first came to him 2 years prior when a neighbor who worked at the bank mentioned that the vault lacked an alarm system. Albert then rented a safety deposit box at the bank, which allowed him to enter the vault unescorted. He meticulously photographed every corner of the vault and made detailed notes, devising a plan to remain inside without arousing suspicion. Albert realized that the most viable option to gain access to the vault was through the city's extensive underground sewer system. After obtaining a map of the sewer system from the city hall, he identified the closest point to the bank and determined the optimal starting point for digging. This 30-foot tunnel posed significant challenges, including the potential noise that could be heard from the busy avenue above. Albert partnered with the sewer rats, who provided the necessary manpower and equipment. The digging process was arduous, requiring traditional tools to avoid detection. The confined, poorly ventilated space posed significant challenges, prompting Albert to reorganize the workers into teams and even station a doctor on standby for emergencies. They installed a ventilation tube and ran half a mile of electrical cable to power fans and lights, ensuring the workers' comfort and efficiency. After 9 weeks of relentless effort, they finally reached the vault's wall in early July. The next task was to penetrate the 12-inch reinforced concrete wall, a challenge that required jackhammers and drills. To test the noise level, Albert instructed the diggers to start while he went above ground, and to his relief, he couldn't hear anything. The team broke halfway through the vault wall that night, planning to complete the task on the night they intended to enter the vault. On Saturday, July 17, they resumed digging through the remaining 6 inches of concrete, breaching the vault at 2 a.m. on Sunday morning. They welded the steel door to its frame, buying themselves time to escape if needed, and began breaking into the safety deposit boxes, finding jewelry, gold, and money. The robbers spent nearly 27 hours inside the vault, managing to open 400 out of the 4,000 boxes. Before leaving, Albert spray-painted the memorable quote on the wall, "Without weapons, without violence, without hate." This phrase infuriated the detectives, especially as it became a casual greeting among the public. Albert and the sewer rats were eventually arrested, with Albert providing all the details during his interrogation, hoping to keep his wife out of the situation. While in police custody, Albert and his lawyer met with the judge every Thursday to assess his state of mind and readiness to cooperate. During one of these meetings, Albert used the opportunity to escape. He handed the judge 3 pieces of paper with drawings of the sewer system and started explaining his plan. Seizing the moment, Albert calmly stood up, positioned himself behind the judge's chair, and without warning, jumped out of the window behind the judge's desk. The judge's office was on the first floor, enabling Albert to leap onto the roof of a car parked below, where a friend on a motorcycle was waiting to whisk him away. Albert vanished, and the police were unable to locate him or the stolen loot. He spent the rest of his life taunting investigators by sending provocative photos and messages through various media outlets. Interestingly, he sent $600 in cash to the owner of the car he had landed on during his escape. Albert's beloved wife chose not to join him in his life on the run, continuing her work as a nurse in Nice. Ultimately, the mastermind behind the century's largest robbery succumbed to lung cancer in 1989. And so, we reach the conclusion of our tale. Don't miss out on more thrilling stories like this one. Click that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Stay tuned, stay curious, and together, let's unravel more mysteries of the world.